Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. I am Tim McLaughlin here for another one of our Deskera Thursday weekly webinar series. We're here on LinkedIn Live every Thursday talking about Deskera's ERP and MRP software, going over various subjects and ways that our software has helped our users. This week, as with most other weeks, we are joined by Taylor Otto. Taylor, how you doing today?
Hey everyone, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you, Tim. My name is Taylor Otto. I'm an implementation consultant here at Deskera. Excited to be back for another weekly webinar where we are in our inventory management segment, specifically talking about order fulfillment today.
Great. Yeah. So we've talked about the last couple of weeks, different aspects of inventory management. Today, we're going to be talking about order fulfillment. And we'll start by Taylor, why don't we go briefly into some of the ways that someone might be using their order fulfillment if they're not using a software such as Deskera or a robust system?
Yeah, so what typically clients come to us, if they don't have a software in place, a lot of their work is done manually. So they're keeping track of what orders have they received that they need to fulfill. And then on the flip side, what orders have they created, purchase orders for their materials, and trying to keep track of what they've received and what they haven't. Kind of that first item on the list there, tracking orders and partial orders, goes into that as well, where we need to make sure that whether we're receiving a partial order or a full order, how much have we received in from a particular invoice. Now, as most cases, the more manual labor, the more manual work that we're doing, such as recording this on a spreadsheet, making sure that any changes are being recorded, the likelihood for error goes up significantly, which could negatively impact your business if you expect to have a certain amount of product and you end up not having that amount.
Absolutely. And having that smart functionality of a order fulfillment software where you can see if you've pulled out partial inventory for a single order and you have a little bit left to do on that one, being able to see what you have left to do and better plan out your operation is very valuable. That brings us into the next point a little bit here, where when we talk about purchasing an inventory, such as we were just saying, with the partial orders and tracking what you have for your orders, keeping that proper inventory on hand, knowing what you need to bring in, but also when it comes to being on the receiving end of orders.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to make sure that the orders that you are placing, that you are receiving all of that product, whether that is receiving in order in full or a partial fulfillment. For example, if you order 10 of a product that you are relying on because you're going to turn around and sell that product, you want to know if you've only received 5 or 6 of that, and how much is left that you can expect to receive. Especially, if that's overdue, and having that record, having that visibility reduces the chance of you forgetting about that, as well as your vendor forgetting about it as well, and then you end up losing out on that product that you spent money on.
Absolutely. So we're just looking to keep on top of all those needs, on top of what we have, and on top of getting what we're going to need to fulfill those orders. Another big benefit of having order fulfillment software and ERP as a whole is multi-channel order management. So having a single source of information where you're getting all those orders from your various, if you're using e-commerce sites, you're pulling data from there. Or if I have a sales rep such as Taylor working out there on the field, Taylor puts it in order in the system. All of that information is coming in and we can see it all in one place, and we can see what we have on hand at any given time and make sure that we're getting that product to our consumers as needed.
Yeah, absolutely. And you think about the multi-channel order management, you have all these different platforms that you discussed, such as WooCommerce or e-com stores, BigCommerce, Shopify, Amazon, Square, all of these different third parties that maybe you're taking orders on. If you have to rely on those order managements and those fulfillment statuses on all of those different channels, that makes it a little difficult to navigate. One huge benefit with Deskera is we can integrate with these products through APIs, through these softwares, and have all of these orders flow into one. So if you've got a Shopify store, but you're also taking in manual orders on your Deskera platform, all of those invoices are going to show up and sync to the exact same spot, which we're going to get into a little bit later. And Tim, kind of like you mentioned before, these are just some of the integrations that we have readily available, but we do offer API connections. We have open connections to kind of whatever your business really needs.
Yeah, that's one of the big benefits of Deskera is when we're meeting with clients, we find out what it is that your business specifically needs, the way you run, the way you like to manage your business, and find a way to adapt our software to work well with you. Our team, such as Taylor, is working hard day in, day out with our clients to build that software out to work best for each individual user. These integrations we have listed are some of the ones that come out of box, but whatever it is that you need, reach out to us and we'll see if we can make that fit and find a way to make it happen. I think after briefly talking about some of the reasons for inventory fulfillment through Deskera, now would be a great time to hop into that software, take a quick peek around and show what it looks like.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tim. So we're going to transition here into the Deskera software, and we're going to be starting up just right on our invoices screen. And so what's really unique and cool about our invoices screen is we have a lot of data here. You can see right off the bat here, Shopify orders are flowing in through an API connection. So when we receive an order in Shopify, that immediately syncs into our invoices screen here. Now, if that status is paid, so let's say it's paid via Shopify or we fulfill orders via Shopify, those statuses are also going to sync and display as such in this screen here. So taking a look specifically, we can see whether or not this came from Shopify or any other e-com store. With this column right here, we've got a URL to that shop. So if you're someone that maybe uses Shopify and BigCommerce, you're going to be able to know which orders came from what. We also have a due date here. So it lets you know very clearly in red, hey, this order's past due. I got to get this order fulfilled. A really nice indicator, helps me manage, how to prioritize my fulfillments.
Absolutely. It's in one place, having access to all that information is so valuable. Whereas you might have to be using a spreadsheet, looking at these within the software of each platform to find that data.
Yep. And so moving on here, we've got our fulfillment status. So again, a nice visual indicator that you can see. And we've got 3 different statuses showing here. Number 1 is fulfilled, which lets us know that with this invoice, we have fulfilled that order. We have sent out the product. And as soon as that fulfillment happens, as soon as that status gets changed, that inventory is automatically deducted out of our inventory levels, keeping a nice live running number of, hey, I know up to date, second to second, I know how much inventory I have left based on any sort of fulfillment statuses that are happening. The other status we have is unfulfilled. So if we have not fulfilled that order, it's going to let us know. And again, tying back to that due date here, we need to get on this order. This was due 4/30. It's now the 16th of May. We got to get this order fulfilled. Next order here is going to be partial. So this is a nice benefit as well. Typically, there are some businesses that maybe fulfill orders in partial shipments. For really large orders, they may not send all 1,000 of a product at one time, but it's still very important to keep track of what's been fulfilled, what is left to fulfill, instead of guessing or losing track. And eventually, you could end up selling too much or sending out too much of a product or sending out too little and angering your customers.
Absolutely. And I think that brings us to maybe taking a look at our pick, pack, ship functionality within Deskera.
Yeah, so our pick, pack, ship module is another form of fulfilling orders, okay? Before we do get into that, going over to the purchase invoice side. So we talked about receiving sales and being able to fulfill orders that we're receiving, but we also want to keep track of fulfillment statuses of purchasing purchase orders that we've created ourselves. So in our bills module here, we've got our invoice bills, our purchase invoices here. And again, it's the same thing. We've got the same statuses. We can tell if we've paid for it. We can tell if we've received those goods. If there was a partial fulfillment, we know that if we ordered 10, we've received 6. I can see very clearly, hey, I've got 4 more left here that I need to receive. Transitioning into pick, pack, ship. This is another module that we offer with just fulfilling orders. We have gone through this in more detail in a previous webinar. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, please do. But just to kind of gloss over this a little bit and summarize, right off the bat, we can see orders that we have in our system, whether that's an estimate, whether that's an invoice, and we can see if we have sufficient stock or not to fulfill that order. So very clearly, hey, I don't have enough to fulfill this. I'm not going to fulfill this order right now. If it's sufficient, I can go ahead and click pick, and that's going to go to ready to pick here, which means that I have put that order. I'm ready to start picking for that process here. So in my pick list, the orders that I have decided to pick, I can choose an invoice, and I can pick items directly off the shelf to fulfill this order, right? Again, status changes. Hey, if I've already picked this, it's green. If it's red, that means that it's ready to pick, and I can take action on that. Once an item is picked, it goes ready to be packed. And when you're packing, you can choose, hey, am I having multiple packages here? Am I having just one? Do I want to name it a carton, a package, a crate, whatever you want to name it? You can name it whatever you like. And then you can allocate your items to however many cartons or packages that you wish to have. If there's one, that's easy. You can assign all of your products here to that one specific package. Once an item is packed, that means it's ready to ship, which would go into this. This is where you can enter in shipment details, whether you're using a third party to ship your products. And then it gives you a very clear indicator of if that's been shipped or not. And as soon as that is marked as shipped in this pick, pack, ship module, that's also going to reflect on all other screens as well, such as the invoice, which gives us that status of fulfilled.
There we go. Thank you, Taylor. So very interesting way of taking a look at how order fulfillment is done through Deskera, how from the minute you get that order, whether it's through your salesperson, through your e-commerce site, you receive that information through Deskera. You can see throughout your process, getting it from when you receive the order to when you ship it out to the consumer. Great functionality, and it's connected within your accounting software, so you have all your information in one place. I think that will about wrap us up for today. Thank you, Taylor, for showing us a little bit of Deskera. If anybody would like to hear more about Deskera software, if you have any questions regarding what you saw today, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself, Tim McLaughlin, here on LinkedIn, or at tim.mclaughlin@deskera.com. You can also find Taylor Otto here on LinkedIn or at taylor.otto@deskera.com. We'd be happy to share more information. Thanks for your time today. Do you have any closing remarks, Taylor?
Yeah, just to echo what Tim said, we'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you, whether that was a feature that you saw today in this video, or maybe something that we didn't go over, or something you saw in a previous webinar that you want to learn more about. We'd love to have that conversation with you. Reach out to us on LinkedIn or any of the emails that you see on your screen right now. Cool. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.